Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and today I got a call that this guy hit like a pipe in his yard and bent his lawnmower blade. So I told him I'd take a look at it, and this just came in, so I figured we'd take a look at it together. So first thing I want to do is unhook the spark plug. Put the carburetor side up. Yeah, that's a bent blade. I did put a clamp on the band brake. Spark plug's unplugged. We want to watch here when I spin this, and we want to see if our So if you look at this, I could tell he bent the whole thing, the crankshaft. So we're gonna have to straighten out that in order to fix this. I'm going to start by pulling the blade. We'll straighten that out first. Well, at least that hub came off. I'll show you how I fix these. So we're going to use the hydraulic press. If we look at the good side, we can see that it's pretty flat right along here. And that's what we got to do for this side. That'll kind of give you an idea of how out of flat it is. So we're just going to start by pressing this down. And we just want to go a little bit at a time. I'm going to try it this way. There's a lot of spring in these guys, so you have to be careful. Alright, that took care of most of it. Now it's just a matter of bending it exactly where it needs to be bent. So that's looking pretty good. So now that I have the blade bent, I'm just going to check it. There's this little indicator here. Right there we're touching. And we'll spin it around. Boom. We are really close. This doesn't even need any tweaking. So I'm happy with that. I'll sharpen this blade, and then we're going to bend the shaft to get it straight. Next step, we're going to remove the engine. So the engine's off. I'm going to pull the plug. And I'm going to remove this cover so I can spin it over pretty easily. Alright, so he wanted a tune-up too. So I'll let that drain, and then the other thing I was thinking of is the this band brake. I want to clamp this thing, or unclamp that basically, so I could turn the engine over easily. So let me find something for that. So this little thing, I just kind of made it. It's like a little tool, and if it fits on this one, we'll slip that through there, and then we can pull back like that, and that'll loosen up our band brake. I might have to put a spacer in here, but once that drains, we'll see if we're good. So I'm going to be using my Mighty Midget crankshaft straightener, and the first thing I want to do is just clean off the shaft, because you have to put these sleeves on here and they'll get stuck if you don't clean it off. So I'm going to wire brush it. So this guy is my Mighty Midget, and we're going to start just by getting the engine bolted on. Should line right up on here. So I mounted the engine with bolts and nuts, and now I'm just going to torque it up a little bit so it's nice and snug. So the motor is all mounted. Now what we want to do is set up this thing to bend it. So first thing you want to do, there's a bolt underneath. You want to tighten this up so it just touches against the shaft. So right now it's just touching. And then you want to put on your sleeve. You want to oil it up. I have a little bit of WD-40 on it. And you don't really want it jamming against that bolt, but just kind of get it in there. And you could put the blade nut from the lawnmower on that just to support it. You don't have to tighten it. So just kind of snug it up like that. Alright, now what we can do, loosen up the top bolt, unhook this little arrow, and we're going to turn over the engine, and we're going to watch the scale over here. So the engine is free. So the spark plug's out. Looks like we're hitting. This thing is really bent. Hang on. Loosen that guy up, because as it's turning, it's hitting there. That's how bent it is. And now I think we're hitting the bottom one, so let me loosen that a couple turns. Alright, so now that's spinning pretty freely, and we don't really have compression because the spark plug's out. Alright, and if you look at this arrow, you can see how out it is. It's up about 8 lines, and it's going all the way down to the bottom. So you want to set this thing at the lowest point, which is right there. And I'm going to get like a marker and mark this. So our lowest point's right there. When that's on top, that's our low point. So we're ready to start bending. So you just bring this up till it hits the shaft, hand tighten that one. It shouldn't be hitting the sleeve. It's got to hit the shaft. And then with this guy, we're going to kind of torque down on this thing. And as we go, we can watch this arrow. And we don't want to do it all at once, but we want to go, you know, until it's at least doing something. Alright, that's pretty tight. As I said, you don't want to take it all at once. So now I'm going to loosen this guy up. And like any steel, it's going to want to spring back. So I'll loosen the bottom, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to watch the arrow. If you're going the right way and doing things right, it should have improved. Alright, I'm hitting the bottom one. Hang on. Alright, so now that's clear. Let's take a look. We're near the middle, and we're up from the bottom. So we improved a lot there. Alright, so next step, go all the way down to the low point again, which according to this scale is about right there. Still the red's on top. We're going to snug it up just till it hits the shaft, and then we're going to tighten a little bit. And we're watching that dial indicator as we tighten. We want to try and get it up a little bit more than last time. Alright, that's all I'm going. I don't want to break this thing. It's just a little engine. You need to have some patience when you do this. So we'll loosen this all the way up, pull it up a little bit, bring this one down a couple turns, and we'll spin the engine over. And we're watching our needle. So right now we're down there and we're coming up here. We're only about 4 lines out, so we'll keep it at the bottom, which is right there. You can see that moved a little bit, like my red line was on top, but now I'm seeing the bottom there. And we're going to go a little bit. If you can get it within 1 or 2 lines, you're doing great. Alright. I didn't quite have to go as hard that time because I don't have as much to bend as I did prior. So we'll spin this guy around. We're about 5 lines apart. So the bottom now is right here. So we'll crank this guy down. It's just starting to move. Alright, we'll loosen that up. And if you gradually work at it, after a couple tries, you'll have it. Alright, right now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines yet. I got to go a little bit tighter. There's the bottom right there. Need a little bit more pressure. Okay. So we got a little bit of movement, but not much. Alright, it really doesn't matter that this isn't right in the exact middle. And you can see it's you know, it's out maybe 1/8 of an inch, but it was out you know, before it started almost like 1/2 an inch. So I'd say we're pretty good. So we could pull this apart, put on the lawnmower, and as long as we're not vibrating, we're in good shape. Alright, so we'll pull this apart, and this is why you want to sand that shaft, because you want this guy to slip right off. Boom. And there's different size sleeves for different size shafts. So we got that one, and now we'll just unbolt this guy, 1/2 inch. And then I always keep these bolts with this mighty midget. Put our cover back on. So I got the motor mounted by hand. Now we're just going to tighten her up. Put on our blade hub, our blade, blade adapter and nut, bolt. Put that on there. So I released the blade brake so I can spin the blade. There's no spark plug in here, and if you look right in here at the middle, it's spinning pretty true. I mean, I can barely see any wobble in that, and the blade's pretty straight too. I mean, I'm like within 1/8 of an inch of this edge, and when this side comes up, maybe 3/16 out, but yeah, it should be fine. This guy's using this as a trim mower, and basically mows his whole yard with a riding mower. So I'll put in a new spark plug. And I need an air filter. I might have this one, I don't know, but this guy wants a tune-up too. So he's getting a new plug, blade sharpened, mower washed, air filter. Sure enough, I do. So I'll put a little oil on this, and then we'll put that back in. About 18, 19 ounces is what we want. We're a little bit high. Perfect. Little oil on that sponge helps catch particulate. Well, we're going to start this thing up and see if it works. The main thing is we don't want like any vibration. This thing, the way it was bent, I couldn't even start it before because the blade was actually scraping on the ground. So we'll see what we get. Alright guys, so that mower's running good. It's not vibrating, nothing noticeable at least. It's cutting fine, it sounds decent. When I originally got the mower, as I said, you couldn't start it because the blade was actually hitting the ground. I got the blade straightened, I got the crankshaft fixed. The only other way to fix it is replace the engine or replace the mower. That mower is probably worth about $220, $240 new. So, you know, we have about an hour, about 75 bucks in work, and, you know, another 55 for a tune-up on that thing. So you should be in business and good to go. So guys, I'll put a link below to that Mighty Midget. It is a pretty nice tool. You only have to use it about 3 times a year, and, you know, you use it about 5-6 times, you'll definitely pay for it. And you know, it's been a good tool for me. I've probably used it 10-12 times since I've owned it. So yeah, it can save an engine, and I never had any issues with you know, breaking an engine, trying to straighten out a crankshaft or anything like that. Yeah, it's always been a good machine, and you don't have to get it absolutely perfect for it to work pretty well. So guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up for me. Alright, take care. We'll see you on the next one.